So here's a funny question for you. When was the last time you actually thought about how to climb a flight of stairs? My guess is probably never, right? As adults, it's just something we do. It's totally automatic. It's a habit. But what if, and just think about this for a second, what if you could make your biggest, most ambitious goals feel just as automatic? You know, saving for a house, launching that business. What if you could make progress feel less like a grind and more like just taking the next step? See, the problem for most of us is that our big goals don't feel like a simple staircase. They feel like a giant, intimidating mountain. And we're standing at the bottom, looking up, and it's just so overwhelming that we don't even know where to begin.
Well, the trick is to flip the whole thing on its head. It's a mental model called reverse engineering. And all it means is, instead of looking up from the bottom of the mountain, you mentally teleport yourself to the peak. You start at the finish line, your goal already achieved, and you look back down at the path that got you there. It's a total game changer.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we put it into practice? We're going to take this really powerful idea and turn it into a super simple metaphor that works for pretty much any goal you can think of. We're going to build a staircase.
So here's the framework. It breaks any goal down into 4 simple parts. You've got your ultimate goal. That's the top floor. Your starting point, where you are right now, is the ground floor. In between, you have landings. These are your big milestones. And the steps themselves, those are the little actions you take every single day.
All right, let's make this real. We'll start with a personal goal, something a lot of us can relate to, saving up for a down payment on a house. Instead of just vaguely saying, I gotta save money, we're gonna build a rock-solid structure around it.
And here it is in action. The top floor is super clear, $40,000 saved, done. The ground floor is an honest look in the mirror, okay, I'm starting at 0. Now the landings, this is where it gets good. These are your mini goals, your checkpoints, like every $5,000 you save. These are the moments you get to pause, review, and maybe even reward yourself a little. And the steps? Those are the nitty-gritty methods. Setting up automatic transfers, fine-tuning your budget, you get the idea.
Now, to really nail down that top floor, your goal needs to be solid. The SMART framework is absolutely perfect for this. So instead of just save money, it becomes, I will save a specific $40,000. It's measurable. It's achievable if you break it down. It's relevant to buying that house, and it's time-bound, let's say over the next 3 years. See, now it's a real plan.
Okay, that was personal finance. Let's scale this thing up. Let's see how the exact same staircase logic applies in the world of business, where the goals are bigger, but the thinking is exactly the same. And this, right here, this slide perfectly illustrates the shift in thinking. Traditional budgeting asks, how much money do we have to spend? It starts with the limitation. Reverse engineering asks a totally different question. How much do we need to spend to get the result we want? You're not just spending money, you are investing in a very specific outcome. So here's how a business actually does it. First, you define the top floor. We want a revenue growth of $160,000. Cool. Step 2, you work backwards. Okay, to get that much revenue, how many new customers do we need? Let's say it's 16. Step 3, you do the math. If it costs us $6,000 to get 1 customer, then our marketing budget needs to be a very specific data-driven $96,000. It's a formula, not just a wild guess.
So let's zoom out one last time, because this is where it gets really powerful. This thinking isn't just for numbers and money. You can use reverse engineering to fix entire complex systems, like a broken corporate process, by starting with what the perfect outcome would look like for the people who actually have to use it every day.
Just think about the annual budgeting process at a big company. For so many people, it is an absolute nightmare. It's slow, it's rigid, and honestly, it's just a frustrating mess for everyone involved, from the executives all the way down to the department heads who are just trying to get their work done.
And you can see everybody's unhappy, but for different reasons. Management says it takes too long. Finance is worried about mistakes. IT hates the messy data. But look at the complaint from the department heads. They're saying the templates don't even let them budget the way they actually think. And these are the people, 80 to 90% of the users, who are stuck with this broken system.
So how in the world do you fix a problem that big? You reverse engineer it. You start by defining the ideal end state for the real users. You stop asking what finance needs, and you start asking what would make this process easy, flexible, and genuinely useful for a department head. Because at the end of the day, if people can't use the system, it's useless. Usability is everything. So,
Whether we're talking about saving for a house, figuring out a marketing budget, or completely overhauling a corporate process, the blueprint underneath it all is exactly the same. Let's just quickly recap that universal framework you can use for any goal you have.
It always comes back to these four things. The top floor, knowing exactly what done looks like. The ground floor, being totally honest about where you are today. The landings, those crucial checkpoints to keep you motivated. And finally, the steps, the actual concrete actions that will get you there.
And that's the real magic of this whole idea. The beauty of reverse engineering is that it scales. The exact same logic that helps you save your first $1,000 can help a huge company plan a multi-million-dollar strategy. The core principle never changes. You always start at the end.
By starting at the top of your staircase, you turn that scary, intimidating mountain into a clear, manageable path of individual steps. And suddenly, making progress starts to feel less like a struggle and a lot more like a habit. So the only question left is, what goal are you going to start reverse engineering first?